Hey guys, just want to send you a quick update. Always feels a little funny doing this, but I'm going to try and make my way through it and hopefully make sense. I've been back in Perth for just over a month right now, mostly just to reevaluate for the future, looking at visa options, study options. I haven't actually been really in Perth for like almost the last year, so living in my apartment. Even driving my car, all of these things that you can take so for granted, has been really lovely to be back in this place I've lived in for 12 years. I just hit my 12-year mark, I think last week, so that's crazy. Love Australia. Been evaluating kind of what's up for the future, what God is saying. I feel like he's been asking me questions. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What does that look like practically? How do you get there? And kind of what the conclusion is to pursue getting certified in counseling. So doing some extra studies to make that happen, which will open up doors both in ministry for missionaries as well as some of the projects we've been doing overseas. Some of you would remember I've done some work in both the Middle East and parts of Europe with the refugee crisis, been working with women and prostitution and different things. And at times we come in different contexts where there's a necessity to have licensing or certification, either to personally go and work or to bring even a team in. And as well as just the need for mental health care amongst our staff. Many of them are encountering situations that are incredibly difficult, whether there's death on the field. Just recently processing with a girl heading back to Africa, and she's a midwife, or kind of coming alongside mothers in parts of Africa, working with a lot of Muslim women, and she's working with some other doctors, midwives, and as the baby was pulled out, the baby's neck got snapped and it died. Like, how do you process something like that if we don't have people that they can journey with and debrief with? And just meeting with other missionaries here currently who are transitioning home after serving many years on the field, and trying to get just everything in place, making sure there's good closure relationally and in ministry, the things they've been carrying, leadership they've carried, at times painful circumstances that is just good to talk about, make sure that you have closure on. And so the last couple of weeks I've been doing a bit more with ministry with that, so just counseling, debriefing some of the staff here, as well as we have a new ministry that a couple of my good friends have helped launch in the last year, which is called Perth Pregnancy Support, coming alongside women in the community that don't have access to resources. Some of them are immigrants. I just met with a Nigerian mama the other day who just had a baby a month ago and has a little boy who has autism, and trying to just support the mom who's incredibly isolated, can't drive, can't get out anywhere, with her 3 kids and living in a lot of fear, and seeing how can we get them connected to resources and community, and provide community. So just providing relationship, listening, talking, in the midst of, at times, incredible anxiety, depression, and lots of other things in there. So it's been really great to come alongside and support, not carrying any leadership roles, but talking to lots of people, talking to the leadership about the future. Yeah, lots of things to figure out. I've been on the phone a lot with immigration, with different universities in the area, because I'm looking at doing my training here in Australia, partly because they will actually honor my international degree. I did a degree, a bachelor's in counseling years ago, but not in an American school, and a lot of the American schools require you to have your degree from American accredited university, and so I don't fit in those boxes, and that's okay. So I'm just looking at other options to do alongside working with YWAM. And so this next year, what might have to happen is that I am part-time working over on the east coast of Australia and studying because the universities here, I want to be at a Christian school because it's counseling, and my preference is to study psychotherapy from a biblical worldview. And so the school that I initially wanted to do is reevaluating their international status, if they can take international students. And so that complicates my situation a bit. And so the 3 other Christian schools, because there's not many that do masters in counseling or this kind of training, they are all located on the East Coast, 1 in Brisbane, 2 in Sydney. I think there's a couple others over there, but there's definitely not as many here on the west coast of Australia where I live, partly because we're the most remote city in the world. So so I'm looking at that, just trying to process how to do the funding for that. Going to be going home soon, so I'm getting a plane ticket hopefully the next couple of weeks to go home because of my visa limitation. I have to be out of the nation by November, or early November actually, like pretty much October. Packing up my life here to make room for a new housemate that's going to take my slot as I figure things out. And so I have charts, I have spreadsheets with tick boxes on them of this school and that school and what the options are and visa wise. And so lots of unknowns still, but I feel like this is a good step. I feel like it's a season of getting input, which I'm really excited about, to get more training, more knowledge on how to serve better in the area of counseling and with where we're at in society with mental health. Reading reviews, which say like up to 90% of what doctors are seeing in their clinics are psychosomatic issues, so stress-related mental health issues. Just talked to a friend of mine who was teaching here from Denmark, and his wife is an MD in Denmark, and she was talking to the lead doctor in their practice, and he's like, if you really want to help these people, many of whom are immigrants and refugees, he's like, get a counseling degree, because that's what they're here for, that's what they need. A lot of their ailments are based out of mental health issues. And so it's just things that are reaffirming kind of this decision to move more towards getting licensed and certified. Once again, I am working out a lot of those details. Coming back to Seattle, initially I wasn't sure if I was going to get kicked out of the nation for a bit, but it looks like there might be some other opportunities with some different schools that I can get a student visa and then be working with YWAM at the same time. And so still hopefully running some of the workshops that I've been doing in Perth and in Paris. I know both bases still want to run those, and so even looking at outsourcing where we can train up other people to lead that, and then doing counseling and debriefing for staff. And I would love to be able to take some outreach teams overseas or go alongside other teams to do ministry, but I'll be probably focused more on ministry here in Western Australia for the next bit. In just certain regions we have up in the Kimberley, which is Western Australia, has the highest suicide rate in the entire world amongst the Indigenous, and recognizing the incredible need we have here in this nation and the limited resources in counseling. USA it's like the Mecca for counseling resources and rehab facilities and all of that. And so a lot of our referrals tend to be even like, where can we send this student or this person who needs extra care? And often it seems like we have to look at American programs. So well done, America. But I think the rest of the world is playing catch up in this whole topic of looking at mental health, and definitely as a missionary, recognizing more and more people that come from all over the world that we have come train with us and go out with us. We're just seeing an increase of mental health issues in our schools. I know in the training courses that I've led, so much in the area of mental health. And even just my own journey this last year of just hitting my limit and feeling like, I hate using the word burnout, but I don't have another word for it, but just kind of realizing I kind of I max myself out a bit, and just needed to take a pause, which I hadn't really done in I don't know how many years. But things going on in your body, where you start having a hard time fighting off sickness and stuff, and yeah, it makes it really difficult to face any crisis that comes your way. So yeah, so that's kind of what's up for right now. Just being back, serving how and where I can, packing up my life, applying for universities, finishing a lot of paperwork, kind of things to make sure that I've wrapped up my roles here, that I've carried, and like my heart is to be back in Perth. But yeah, there's a big financial commitment with doing school here. Things I need to pay for, extra expenses from medical and car stuff that have come up. And so it's kind of a season of trying to figure out if any of you guys have any job opportunities that you think would be a good fit if I'm in town for 3 to 6 months. My desire would be to be back in Australia in February to start the new year. That's our beginning of the school year, is February in Australia, kind of the end of summer. A little opposite from you all in America, but I would love to know what your thoughts are. If you're like, oh hey, you should check out this connection or whatever. Also looking at getting plugged into a local church again. There, my church that I used to go to has dismantled, and so in recent years I just tend to go to church with my family when I'm in town. And which is great, but recognizing to have a support team of people who really know your story, know what's going on, who pray for you consistently. Having a sending church is really important. And so I've been in touch with Jake Gertza, who I went to college with, who leads Arbor Church. Some of you might know him. Just about getting plugged in, and so yeah, he's connecting me in with some people to be able to serve and just get to know their community a bit more. And it's a smaller church, which is quite lovely to have a deeper connection, hopefully, with. So that's kind of the goal for now. But like I said, there's so many unknown factors, but I haven't really got to spend much time with my family in Seattle, as my schedule got a bit flip-flopped around, and I was only home for really a couple of weeks with them. So looking forward to catching up with friends and family and supporters in Seattle area in the West Coast. And yeah, just seeing, I have actually no clue what it will look like, to be perfectly honest. But trying to get myself organized before I head out. Would love your prayers just regarding all of this. This is a long message I'm looking at right now, and it is showing it's at 13 minutes. So I like to be a chatty Cathy, but if you stayed with me to the end, thank you. It is long. I would love to hear how you guys are doing. It blesses my heart just at times get messages from you guys just sharing what your life situation's like, where you're at, where you need to be encouraged, or just this is really hard. Would love to spend time with you guys, whether it's catch up for coffee or meals or whatever. Love that. And yeah, would love your prayers, or any advice, counsel, input. I know before some of you guys have sent me little things that were on your mind, on your heart, things you guys were learning about, or whatever it might be. Would love to hear back from you about that. But just know I'm thinking about you all, and yeah, big hugs sent your way. And one other thing I actually meant to mention this at the very beginning. For those that have been financially supporting me, first of all, thank you. I am beyond grateful. I recognize I couldn't be doing any of this without your hand in it, and recognize your inheritance through the work. So everything that I've been able to do, or people to train up, or whatever, really is your inheritance. You've made it happen. At this time, I'm going to be transitioning my support from how it's been processed to an organization called Modern Day, which I have a number of friends that are with. As this next season I'll be, working different hours. If I process my finance through IWM, they have different boundaries on that. And so Modern Day is a little more willing to work with me in that transition as I figure things out. But if you have any questions or anything, would love to answer that. I'll try and do a little write-up to explain. It's pretty easy actually to cancel it out, close out the account, and then if you are willing to transition to Modern Day, it's all tax deductible. It actually makes it a bit easier for you to see your tax deductible statements and actually to look at where you're at, because this is actually what they do is missionary support. My desire in the future would be if I could do it through a church, through a sending church, but that's just not where things are at this point. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say for now. Lots of love sent to you, and would love to see you when I am in town next. So I think early November is when I'm looking at transitioning that way. So, all right, talk to you soon. Love you.